Hey there, I'm the MadCatster. Am I glad to see you here? Well, Lauren the Mortician, I just made a video about her. Now we have some new stuff to talk about because it looks like Lauren the Mortician and her attorney, Jeanette Braun, may have broken the law. I'm going to tell you why and why Jeanette could doubly be in trouble. I've got the deets and all the receipts, so buckle up and let's go. I'm here with Sybil the Enforcer, and Sybil says, please like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Also, be sure to check out, I've got a second video. I did a video about Blair the Illuminati is being sued in court. So check that video out as well. I'd appreciate that. Now, let's talk about Lauren the Mortician. Now, you know that she's filed a lawsuit against several content creators alleging that they've defamed her and her attorney. And the two of them strangely filed the lawsuit together, which seems like not only bizarre, but kind of a conflict to me because they're not like part of the same entity. And usually like they're partners in a company or something. They would then file, you know, obviously suit together. And as well, Jeanette's law firm is a party to the lawsuit as a plaintiff. So why Lauren is also on this, I don't know, because they don't have any financial or business connection other than one is the attorney, one is her client. I don't know, but we went through the lawsuit in my last video, so check it out. And I explained how I think it's just a lot of BS, and I don't think it's going to survive. I think it's dead in the water, even right out of the gate. We now have more information about that 911 call that was made to ask for a wellness check on Caffeinated Kitty. And Caffeinated Kitty actually posted the recordings of the two, it's actually two 911 calls, one from Janet and one from Lauren, the mortician, asking the police to go do a wellness check. Now, the fact that there's two of them and they're both strangely similar sounds like to me like, in my opinion, a concerted effort or a joint effort by the two of them to have Caffeinated Kitty visited by the police. And I think, in my opinion, the only reason is to harass her and to intimidate her. You be the judge. We're going to listen to those in just a second. If those two calls are deemed to have been false, it's a violation of Georgia law, which is where Caffeinated Kitty resides. And the 911 dispatcher that was called was in Georgia. And I'm going to show you the statute also after we listen to the calls. But also, if they're determined to be false, Jeanette Braun, attorney Braun, could be in some trouble with the disciplinary people of the Illinois bar, and the Illinois lawyers are, as in most states, overseen by the state Supreme Court. I've got one of those complaints and requests for investigation that I've completed, and I'm going to show it to you and show you what it looks like. We're going to talk about why I think she's in trouble and look at what ethics provisions I believe she may have violated, in my opinion. But first, let's take a listen to these two 911 calls, and you tell me what you think about these two calls and give me your impressions of the content. So I want to give a shout out to Cece Suarez because I viewed her most recent video where she talks about all of this nonsense going on with Lauren and Janet. And I'm going to put a link to her video down below. Cece put up two recordings of these 911 calls, which apparently Caffeinated Kitty got. I'm going to take a clip from Cece's video to show you what these calls are about, and then you can be the judge.
So the legal threats and things like that didn't stop there. So because Kitty, kind of kept talking about this, and rightfully so, she's allowed to, the cops showed up at Kitty's house saying that someone had called to request a wellness check on her. Now, when you request a wellness check, it's because, you're worried about someone, you're worried about their safety. However, to weaponize a wellness check or, call the police on someone for being on Reddit, not okay at all. A waste of law enforcement's time. Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Jeanette Braun. I'm an attorney, a federal attorney out of Illinois, and I'm actually calling in a wellness check for... She's acting irrational and posting really wild things online. It really looks like she's having a mental crisis and needs some help. I'm wondering if you would go do a wellness check on her and make sure she hasn't harmed herself or...
And make sure she hasn't harmed herself? The stuff that she's talking about does not come anywhere close to suggesting anything of the sort. So right away, this is a big red flag.
I need an address. Do something more. Sure, the address is... I have it. Coming now. I have to pull it up.
And of course, another red flag is she's got to now dig through, I'm assuming on her phone or her computer, to find the address for Caffeinated Kitty. I mean, really? You don't even have that information right away? If I were the dispatcher, I'd be going,
And what's her name? Her name is she black white with short. Do you have a date of birth on her? It is February. It's February. I don't know the date. Whatever is a good one. 19. And what exactly is she posting? She is posting on her TikTok under Caffeinated Kitty, CAFFINATEDKITTI, and her Reddit account. I just need to know what she's posting. I don't need the usernames. Oh, she's blackmailing people. She is going. She's extremely irrational. Posting content to threaten others. She's looks like almost extortion. I received an email from her on Saturday that was full of blackmail and extortion, and I'm going to submit that to the FBI, but now she's posting online.
The fact that Janet believes that she's trying to blackmail people, well, what does that have to do with the wellness check? And also, she's posting content to threaten others. You notice the use of language. She doesn't say she's posting content threatening others. She's saying she's posting content to threaten others. There's a big difference there.
And she really seems to be having a mental crisis. Is this a relative of yours or? No, not a relative. What's your name? Jeanette, Keanette. And my last name is Braun, Braun. And I'm an Illinois barred attorney. I think I have an obligation to report when I see erratic behavior as an officer of the court, and this is extremely erratic.
Now, there's a key phrase in there. She says she believes that she has an obligation to report erratic behavior as an officer of the court. Well, that's just complete bullshit because as an officer of the court, which attorneys are officers of the court, as an officer of the court, you're obligated to report when you think somebody's going to harm themselves or harm others. You know, if your client's threatening to harm people or your client's threatening to commit some sort of criminal act, that's like one of the only times that you can break the attorney-client privilege. And in this instance, being an officer of the court, you are not obligated to review people's social media posting and make your own unprofessional evaluation. Because as far as I know, Janet's not a psychiatrist or psychologist. She's an attorney. She's not qualified to evaluate someone's mental state.
All right, we'll get them on. Check on her. Let me get you her apartment number. I have it. I gotta pull it up. I don't have the apartment number. She's on the floor. She was born in February. Okay. She's on the floor of the apartment building. Short purple hair, thin, white, and I think she really needs some help. All right, we'll get someone out there to check on her. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good Sunday. You too. Bye-bye. Bye.
So now Attorney Braun has phoned this in to Georgia, and they say they're going to send somebody out to check on her. Now, what I found incredibly interesting as well is the next call, even though she says she wants to remain anonymous, is clearly from Lauren the mortician. And just have a listen to this.
Hi, I was calling. I was calling to ask for a wellness check on someone.
Okay, what's the address?
It is.
And what's your name?
I'd like to remain anonymous if I could. I know that's awkward, but this girl is just spiraling.
So according to Lauren the mortician, this girl is just spiraling. So apparently she wants a wellness check, but she thinks it's hysterical that this person is in some kind of distress, allegedly.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me something. What's a relationship?
So she has a presence online, and she is blackmailing people online. She is threatening people. She's on Reddit. She's on TikTok. She's acting erratically. Her comments online are wild. I think this girl is literally. Her name is.
Do you have her date of birth?
I don't, but I know she was born in February. I don't know the day.
Okay, and what has she been doing online?
She is leaving comments, threatening people, blackmailing people. She's on Reddit, trying to gather people together to go after people.
So she's allegedly trying to blackmail people. She's allegedly gathering people together to go after other people. That's not something that's going to require a wellness check. And also, you notice she struggles. It's like the operator's even asking, well, are you related to her? Like, what's she doing online? And it's ridiculous to hear Lauren struggling to come up with something legitimate that would be a reason why there should be a wellness check.
She's
Are
just
these
acting.
people you or someone you know?
No, somebody I know online.
Okay.
Yeah, she's acting irrational, erratic, and honestly, I just wonder if her mental health is okay. Like, so she's going to harm herself or other people because this.
Did she mention anything about harming herself?
No.
Okay.
But at this, I mean, this is just not like her normal stuff at all. To be posting.
So you actually know her?
From online.
So you notice this dispatcher is a little bit more inquisitive than the last one when she's asking her, well, do you know her? And did she actually threaten to harm herself? And she's, oh, well, after a long pause, no. So she's not threatening to harm herself. And we've established she doesn't know her. So it's like, well, how do you have the basis to believe that she needs a wellness check?
Okay, but you don't know her personally. You just know her online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you don't want to leave your name.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So again, thank you to Caffeinated Kitty and thank you to Cece Suarez. Again, there'll be a link to Cece's video down below. What an absolute shit show. And it doesn't sound to me like the second dispatcher sounded to me like she was incredibly skeptical. And you notice she didn't say, we'll send somebody out there. So I'm wondering if she's made the evaluation that this is just a waste of time. But based on, certainly on Jeanette Braun's call, they did actually send someone out. Of course, they determined there was absolutely no reason for it. And this was a waste of not only police resources, but tying up 911 dispatchers when there potentially could be a call that's an actual emergency that they could be taking to help somebody truly in distress is actually against Georgia law. And I'm going to show you the statute here that I believe that if these calls are found to have been bogus, and you can be the judge, that they broke this particular law in Georgia. So you can see here, Georgia Code Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, Section 16-11-39.2. And they define certain things that a false report means the fabrication of an incident or crime or of material information relating to an incident or crime which the person making the report knows to be false at the time of making the report. Harass means to knowingly and willingly engage in any conduct directed toward a communications officer that is likely to impede or interfere with such communication officer's duties. So I think that these calls might qualify for that. It's obviously up to law enforcement to decide that, but they're calling knowing that what the information that they're giving is not really grounds for the wellness check they're requesting, and it's interfering with the officer's duties because it's tying them up unnecessarily. And you can see this paragraph B here where it says a person commits the offense of unlawful conduct during a 911 telephone call if he or she calls or otherwise contacts 911, whether or not conversation ensues, so they don't even have to answer, for the purpose of annoying, harassing, or molesting a 911 communications officer, or for the purpose of interfering with or disrupting emergency telephone service. So again, arguably, the fact that they know that they're not making calls that are based in legitimate concern, I think could definitely be a violation of this statute. And then you'll see down here, under number 5, it says calls or otherwise contacts 911 and makes a false report. Any person who violates subsection B of this code shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500 or 12 months in jail or both. So, I mean, I think that, in my opinion, based on the curiously similar language that the two of them used, I think that, first of all, in my opinion, it looks like it was like a joint enterprise where they discussed that they were going to do this, that they weren't independently suddenly concerned for Caffeinated Kitty's well-being. Do you think they were? And that they have intentionally filed these reports that she needs a wellness check, despite the complete absence of any evidence to indicate any kind of physical harm or any other circumstance that would warrant a wellness check, makes this in my opinion, look like a false report. But again, that's up to law enforcement. And it says here, this is also what I found interesting under D. Any violation of subsection B of this code section shall be considered to have been committed in any county where such call or contact with 911 originated, or in any county where the call or contact with 911 was received. So even though Janet and Lauren are out of state, the fact that the calls were received in whatever this county is in Georgia means that under Georgia law, they are considered to have made the calls in that county. So it doesn't matter that they're out of state. If the DA or the prosecutor wants to go after them, they could go after them and seek to have them extradited to Georgia to face charges. I seriously doubt that that's going to happen, unfortunately, because I don't think they have the time or the resources to pursue a misdemeanor like this. But I think tragic that they've wasted 911's time and wasted the police's time for the police to have to go all the way out there to find out that nothing's wrong. The bigger issue now is for Attorney Braun, as an officer of the court, what she could possibly be in trouble for in terms of the bar in Illinois, where she's licensed as an attorney. And I'm going to show you here what I'm talking about. Jeanette Braun is licensed in Illinois, and this is from the bar's site. This is, again, public information. And it's Jeanette Marie Braun. Her law firm is Braun IP Law LLC, and I've blacked out the other information. She was admitted to the bar on November 7th, 2019, and she is active in authorized practice law, so she's not under any kind of suspension, and there are no public records of discipline or pending proceedings. So right now, she's an attorney in good standing in Illinois for right now. There are bar associations in each state, but the actual discipline and the licensing is controlled by usually the state Supreme Court, and it says Supreme Court of the state of Illinois, and here we have Article 8, Illinois Rules of Professional Conduct and Lawyers' Responsibilities. So every state has rules of professional conduct. And if you violate one of those rules as an attorney, you can be disciplined. And discipline can be everything from maybe a warning, maybe a brief suspension, maybe a long suspension, or even losing your license to practice as an attorney. And there's a whole lot of rules. And people always say, oh, attorneys lie and all this stuff. And I hate when I hear people say that. It's like, no, you've been watching too much TV. For some reason, television has decided that attorneys are dishonest, and it's unfortunately permeated popular culture. It's not true. Yes, of course, there are bad attorneys. There's bad people in every profession. There are bad doctors. There are bad dentists. There are bad corporate people. There's bad McDonald's workers. Of course, there are going to be bad apples, but attorneys are held to a very strict set of rules of professional conduct. And you can be in big trouble if you're found to have violated any of them. Please stop believing that attorneys all lie, because it's not true. Okay, so you can't know that your client did it and then put them on the stand so they can say, no, I didn't do it. Because that you can't do that. Because that's perjury, and the lawyer knows it's perjury, and you could be in big trouble and lose your license for that. We're going to skip down to the section that I think is most relevant in this particular instance. And here you'll see Rule 8.4, misconduct. And it says, it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to A, violate or attempt to violate the rules of professional conduct, knowingly assist or induce another to do so. So that's important, because if Attorney Braun was responsible for instigating Lauren to make her separate 911 call, if they are determined to be false, that could also get her into trouble because she's put Lauren up to making a false report. Or do so through the acts of another. So you don't even have to directly break this rule. If somebody else does something at your behest that's a violation of this, you could still be held responsible because they're doing it on your behalf. B, commit a criminal act that reflects adversely on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer in other respects. Now, if those 911 calls are determined to be false, that's a violation of Georgia law. That's a criminal act that violates this rule, 8.4, misconduct of the rules of professional conduct. That can get Attorney Braun in deep doo-doo with the disciplinary people. And C, engage in conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation. So, in my opinion, as an attorney, I think that she's violated this rule. And it's not for me to decide. It's for the Illinois Supreme Court to decide that. and for anyone that investigates her to decide that, whether or not A, the calls down in Georgia were false, and B, whether that constitutes a violation of the rules of professional conduct in Illinois. In my opinion, I think it is. But again, it's not my decision to make. Now I'm going to show you what one of these reports looks like to the bar. And to quote Janet, as an officer of the court, I feel it's my duty to inform the disciplinary commission or committee of misconduct by another attorney. I believe that I'm obligated to do that as an officer of the court, Attorney Braun. And so if I was going to file a request for investigation with Illinois, this is what it would look like. I've actually filled one of these out. And it says Attorney Registration Disciplinary Commission of the Supreme Court of Illinois complaint form. And then, of course, I blacked out the personal information on here, and name of the lawyer you want to be investigated, Jeanette Braun. Name of law firm, Braun IP Law LLC. And then if you skip down here, if your request relates to a court case or other proceeding, please provide the following information. Now, I believe that the lawsuit they filed in federal court, I think it's frivolous. I think it's not based on good faith. And so I've listed it here. United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, Jeanette Braun, Braun IP Law LLC, and Lauren Propson versus Rebecca M. Day et al., and the case number. And says, please explain your complaint. And so this is what I've written. So if I was going to file this, this is what I would tell the commission. Attorney Braun made a false report, in my opinion, to 911 in Georgia in order to harass a social media influencer. And again, these are my opinions. It's not my place to make a judicial determination or a legal determination of whether or not they've broken the law. This is my opinion of what I think and why I think an investigation should take place. In order to harass a social media influencer who expressed negative opinions of Attorney Braun and Attorney Braun's client, Lauren Propson, aka Lauren the Mortician. Additionally, she filed allegedly false sworn copyright claims with YouTube against this social media influencer. And I put C Exhibit A because I'm going to try to get copies of the actual sworn requests for copyright takedowns that were filed with YouTube, because if she swore under oath and penalties of perjury that it was accurate, YouTube's decided that at least some of them, if not all of them, were meritless. So being an attorney especially, you're held to a higher standard. Jeanette, as a lawyer, should know that under fair use, the claims that she filed, in my opinion, were frivolous and were without merit. And therefore, they were not filed in good faith, and therefore her attesting under penalties of perjury that the information was true and accurate, in my opinion, that's perjury. Okay. But again, it's not for me to decide that. It says, additionally, seemingly not content, and again, my opinion, seemingly not content with this course of action, Attorney Braun and her client, Lauren Propson, proceeded to phone in false, in my opinion, 911 reports concerning the social media influencer Caffeinated Kitty by claiming that as an officer of the court, Attorney Braun had a duty to report to Georgia 911 that Caffeinated Kitty was acting erratically in her online posts and that Attorney Braun was concerned for Caffeinated Kitty's well-being, despite the fact that Caffeinated Kitty's posts did not constitute conduct that would rise to the level of requiring a wellness check by police. Attorney Braun's client, Lauren Propson, then made an almost identical call to Georgia 911, also requesting a wellness check on Caffeinated Kitty. Police dutifully made a wellness check on Caffeinated Kitty only to discover that she was not in need of any assistance. It is clear, in my opinion, that the sole motivation of Attorney Braun and Ms. Propson in making these false allegations, again in my opinion, to 911 was to harass and intimidate Caffeinated Kitty due to the negative opinions she had expressed, which are protected by the First Amendment. These false reports not only prevented the 911 operators from taking actual emergency calls, but the unnecessary wellness check wasted valuable police resources. These false reports, which are attached as Exhibit B, and I'm going to attach a copy of the recordings, are violations of Georgia Code Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, Paragraph B5, see Exhibit C. Additionally, the false 911 report clearly is a violation of the Illinois Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 8.4 misconduct, paragraphs A, B, and C. Additionally, as part of this alleged scheme to harass, Attorney Braun and her client Lauren Propson jointly filed suit in federal court against Caffeinated Kitty and others, See Exhibit D, and I'm going to attach a copy of the lawsuit. So, in my opinion, I think there's reasonable grounds for the disciplinary commission to investigate whether Attorney Braun violated the Code of Professional Conduct through these actions. Again, it's not my place to make that decision. I think there's reasonable grounds for an investigation. If they determine that she's broken the rules of professional conduct, then they can decide to take some action against Attorney Braun. But again, I'm not the one to make that decision, but I think as an officer of the court, Attorney Braun, that it is my obligation to report when I think another attorney has breached the professional code of ethics. And in this case, I think, in my opinion, those rules of professional conduct were breached more than once. You be the judge. Let me know down below what you think of all of this mess. Tell me what you think of the calls. Tell me whether you think that they were warranted. I'd be interested to hear that. I want to thank all of you who have sent us stuff for the holidays from the Amazon wish list down below. It's all stuff for the cats. It's down in the description. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you to our Patreon patrons whose monthly support helps to pay the cat's vet bill. I'm so grateful for your support. I'm grateful for the support of all of our loyal channel members as well. If you'd like to become a patron or a channel member, there's a link down in the description for you to take a look at that. Again, I made a video also about Illuminati and the fact that she's being sued in court by the state of Colorado and creditors. So take a look at that video. In the interim, take care of yourselves, love one another, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.